Madness is just around the corner, but that doesn't mean we give up on NBA props. Let's see what we got on Prizepicks today. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It is Craig Bennett, aka Cash Cake, here, back for another NBA Prizepicks main video. Dropped an early one with 4 picks. I will link it at the end of this if you want to check that out as well. Coming off a great weekend where we went 14-4, 8-2 yesterday, and hopefully we can keep the momentum going with a few lines. I think they're a little light over here at Prizepicks, so we're going to dive right in, and I'll talk a little bit of analysis, and hopefully we can make a little bit of money. But before we do that, hit that like button for me, subscribe to the channel. If I bring any kind of value to you guys, hopefully you're winning a little bit of money and we can just keep on rolling. So with that, let's dive right in. All right, as you can see, I have the Prizepicks desktop up here. I have 5 picks and a couple other ones I'll talk about that I was on the fence with. Maybe you want to dig into them a little bit deeper and put them in your plays. Again, I really recommend playing a lot of 2- and 3-man power plays. I think long-term that is the way to play, and that is the way to win some money. Shooting for those 4- and 5-man power plays, even though I do play them, I play them at a fraction of what I do the 2- and 3-man power plays. That should be the bulk of your play. The more plays you add, the harder it is to hit. That's why you're getting 20x in a return. But again, that'll deplete your bankroll in a hurry if you're not having a steady diet of these 2-man power plays where you mix and match. So if you do not have an account, head on over there, use promo code DFSArmy and get 100% instant deposit match up to $100. The link is in the description below. All right, let's knock out some of these. My first one, I really love this play. It's probably one of my favorites of the bunch here. It's De'Aaron Fox over 5.5 assists. This is just absolutely way too low. Yes, they're going up against the Bulls. The Bulls are 18th in assists allowed, 25th in point guard defense. Yeah, Alex Caruso is coming back, and that, is something that he is a great defender. But he's went over this mark in 8 of his last 10 games. Put up 9 assists against Chicago back on February 16th. But again, Alex Caruso's been out for a little bit. I still think he gets there. 5.5 is too low. It's at 6.5 out there in most books. So we're getting a full assist here to take the over. So again, Caruso makes me a little bit nervous, but hey, they're Chicago's favored by 3.5. It's a 235.5 over under. I think it should get up and down pretty fast. So it's one of those things where I do want this line. It's just way too low, and we're going to take the over. Next one we're going to go and look at is we're going to go in the same game, and we're going to go points, rebounds, and assists. And we're going to come down to Sabonis, Domantas Sabonis, over 34.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Again, going up against Chicago here. He's played them 4 times this year, only once with Sacramento, where he went over at 42 points, rebounds, and assists. But the other 3 games he played when he was with Indy, he went 36, 35, and 44. So he's went over this mark in all 4 games he's played against Chicago. I really like this line. It's like 35.5 out there in most of the books. Chicago's ranked 16th in points allowed against points allowed. 8th in rebounds allowed, 18th in assists allowed. And I think it's just a matchup that he can get it done. He does a little bit of everything, with his shot attempts, with his rebounds, and the minutes have been there as well. So I do like this over. I like this game. I like attacking this game in all formats. But he's averaging. He had put up 36 minutes last game against the Knicks, averaging 35 minutes against Chicago, and 35 minutes for the season. So shot volume is not massive, but that's why I like the points, rebounds, and assists. Because his rebounds have been unbelievable. He's averaging 13 rebounds over his last 5 games. The points, he's only averaging 15 over his last 5 games, but he's averaging 21 against Chicago. And like I said, the field goal attempts aren't massive because Fox has been taking a ton of them. But his assist numbers, 5, 6, 6, 7, and 7 over those 5 games as well. So that's why I like the points, rebounds, and assists, because he does a little bit of everything. And if they control one thing, he will find and make the best basketball play. And that's why I like taking the points, rebounds, and assists with him. The next one we're going to go here, we're going to go on another over. And it's a play that I mentioned in the early video, a player, but we're going to take Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. We're going to take over 5.5 free throws made here. This is going to be a fun one that I've mentioned. We hit it yesterday with Embiid. And I just like this. I think he's going to get to the rim a lot here. Going up against Charlotte. Charlotte is ranked 21st in opponents' free throws attempts per game at 22.5. So they're bottom third of the league here. A lot of it has to do with their pace too, right? Like, if we look at the pace of Charlotte, they're ranked third in the league. So it gets up and down for that, and that means he's gonna push it to the rim. If we just look at free throws made, he's made 3 of his last 5. But before that, he's put up 6, 10, 9, and I think he's just going to get to the rim. Like, it's just him, 5.5. He gets there, he's going to make them. So it's one thing that, yes, they are 10-point dogs here. It's a back-to-back that makes me a little bit nervous. But if his shot's not falling right, if he's got some tired legs, and I can see him pushing to the rim a little bit more and getting to the line to get some of those points. So I do like the over 5.5 free throws made. Again, he's went over this in 6 of his last 8 games. So we're going to go the over here. Next one we're going to look at, one that popped on the board here that I wouldn't have took this if I didn't see the injury consideration. So it changes everything with this play. I like going to Darius Garland over 24.5 points here. Reggie Jackson is doubtful. Robert Covington is doubtful here. And then on Cleveland side, Rondo is doubtful as well. So he should play a ton of point. LeVert is questionable. Wade's questionable. Lauri Markkanen is questionable. That means just a lot of scoring here, a lot of ball in his hands. And without the Jackson, Covington, and Rondo play, I actually like this, taking the bet here. Like, I mean, I love Cleveland money line, and I have no problem taking this at Cleveland. I think it's up to -6 now. It was -5.5 earlier. I'd have to see what it opened at. But Ty Lue looks like he's sitting a bunch of guys, and he's went over this mark in 8 of his last 10 games. And yes, he only put up 16 against these Clippers back on October 27th, but they're completely different teams now. And he's been the offensive star here a while. So we're just going to keep going after this Garland play until it gets up to around 26.5, I think is where the line should be. And the shot attempts are there, 24, 17, 26, 12, then 22, 22, 22, 23, playing massive minutes, 39 minutes a game over his last 5 games. So the minutes are massive. And if we do get LeVert out and Lauri Markkanen out, again, it's going to be him and Mobley are going to be the offense. Kevin Love as well, I guess, shooting some ball. But Garland's going to be the guy pushing the tempo, and he shot horribly. Chicago only shot 38%, and he still got there at 25 points. Just missed it here at Miami. Shot horribly. Again, 24% from the field, 4 for 17. And then smashed it against Indy, of course. He shot 50% from the field, 14 for 26. So we're going to go the over on this one. I think it's the right play with Ty Lue sitting a lot of his guys going into Cleveland with them guys on a back-to-back. So I feel like that line is just a tad bit low. And then the last one here is, again, another one that I like. And I'll mention another play that I like as well, and a teammate of his. So Terry Rozier over 4.5 assists. We talked about this a little bit with in the earlier video, another play that I liked with his. So check that out. But again, I do like this play with Terry Rozier. I do believe that, going up and playing, OKC, they're just absolutely horrendous in every sense of the word. So, they're ranked 27th in assists allowed. He put up 9 against OKC back on January 21st. He's went over this mark in 4 of his last 6 games. And I think that, in this matchup like this, with how it should be, pretty fast paced, pretty up and down, I think that, we could get, pretty easily over here. It's basically him and ball, the ball in their hands at all times. And 4.5 just feels low. This line's at 5.5 at most books. So at 4.5, I would take the over here. And another one I'm kind of looking at is actually his teammate here. It's kind of a weird play, I know. But if you look at Mason Plumlee, he doesn't play a ton of minutes. It's the only reason I ain't going to pull the trigger on this. I might put a little bit on it. But he's actually went over this mark in 6 of his last 7 games. The line is 3.5 out there in most books. We got it 2.5 here. Again, like I said, the ranks 30th against center, 27th in assists allowed. It's just too low for what he's been doing. I mean, we've seen the ball when he gets the playing time. We've seen what he can do. The problem is with Montrezl Harrell being moved over and playing alongside him at times, and and the minutes just haven't really been there. He's only averaged 24 minutes over his last 10, 25 minutes over his last 5. So That's the worry with him. He's always going to make the best basketball play, and that's one thing you got to respect about Mason Plumlee. He does a little bit of everything. Does get quite a bit of fouls with this little time that he does play. But, those assist numbers are legit, right? And if he played more minutes, he would crush all, his points, rebounds, and assists and all that. But it just comes down to the minutes. So if you wanted to take a shot at Mason Plumlee over 2.5 assists, I completely get that. It's not going to be a main play for me, but it's one of those things that I wanted to mention when I was going through some of this research. So a little recap here of what we like. We like De'Aaron Fox over 5.5 assists. Domantas Sabonis over 34.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander over 5.5 free throws made. Darius Garland over 24.5 points. And Terry Rozier over 4.5 assists. Those are the 5 we got. We got 4 more in the early video. I will link it. I hope you guys have a great Monday. Got 9 games on tap here. So again, I'll see you guys on the flip side. Hit that like button on your way out. Deuces.